Hey everybody, Randy here, and got another turntable up for sale. This one's a real special variety. This is one that you probably won't see most of the other guys selling. But a couple of things that I want to put in front. First off, I want to give a shout out to my friend Norberto that lives out on the West Coast. Norberto bought me this shirt, and I got to show this to you. I visited him, long time ago, and he got me this shirt. Now, I know you're sitting here going, what the hell does that mean? Since I used to be a disc jockey, it's Turntable, San Francisco. Here she had the shirt specially made. Nobody ever gets this shirt, nor do I. But yeah, it's not I love San Francisco. It's Turntable San Francisco. So your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, it was the thought that counts. Thank you, Norberto. Yes, I still have the shirt. I will not demonstrate all the holes in the shirt and where they may be, but yeah, it's kind of worn its way out. But anyway, back to the video and the turntable. Here is the original felt pad that was on the turntable platter. Now, this is a commercial radio station turntable. This is a Russco Studio Pro Model B that is going up for sale. And these babies are rare. And because of it, I'm going to ask for bigger bucks than I usually ask for because they're worth it. Plus, it's been restored for the most part. The only thing I did not restore, the idler wheel, some moron apparently at some point left the thing in drive, and it's got a one little tiny divot in the idler wheel. Now, when you're playing a record, you don't hear it, but if you stick your ear against the turntable, you can hear a little thunk, thunk, thunk. But for some reason, it doesn't come through on the vinyl, so I'm leaving that because that's a $36 idler wheel. I will let that up to the next person to replace it if they want to. Everything else has been gone over on the turntable and has been replaced or lubricated, whatever it needed. But anyway, the original felt that was glued to the platter. That's what this is. And this was supposed to have a big hole cut in the middle for the 45s to rest on because the spindle's actually built into the platter, and they didn't cut this out, so the 45s didn't seat correctly. And this thing, that's the backside. You can see this is not reusable, and I wouldn't bother. So what I did was I completely scrubbed all of the past felt. Now, the interesting part about this turntable is, like I said, I used to be a disc jockey. This is the turntable that was in the radio station that I interned at way back in 19. And yeah, this is the turntable I actually learned to play disc jockey on. So it's got some sentimental value for it, but on the other hand, I don't need 800 turntables laying around the house. I bought this for the sentimental value. The station, January 2016, 1 year ago, was sold. And the new owner moved the station to a new location and did not want any of the old equipment, literally scrapped most of it. And I actually bought the turntable from the junk man, believe it or not. It was going to be junked. So I somehow got in touch with the junk man, and I salvaged it. And it ran great. I mean, it needed cleaned up. It hadn't been cleaned up in years, but I cleaned it all up, and it's working fine. Anyway, the other thing it does not come with is this. Now, this is just a little rubber ring that I'm putting under the albums because this turntable has so much torque because of the motor that if you try to start the turntable with an album that's just sitting on the bare platter, and the album just kind of sits there and spins because the torque is like boom. It's instant start. And yeah, you'll see in the pictures that will follow the videos I always do. You'll see in the pictures it's got this big honking motor on it, and it's a regular AC motor. Things I did to this: I lubricated the bearing for the turntable spindle. I lubricated the motor. I fixed the switch. The switch was screwed up. You'll see in the picture that this is a rare breed. It actually has a big black ball on top where the power switch is that turns the table off and on. That is not original to these turntables. And since I was at the station in and out over the years, I know the history of the ball. The station, I wish radio station engineers knew what this stuff was going to turn into money-wise. They wouldn't just junk it. But the ball actually came that they had an original pair of Gates turntables in the production studio, and I believe the round ball was actually on the speed selector that you would shift, and it had 33, 45, and 78. They took the ball when they junked those turntables. They took that ball off and stuck it on this turntable for the power switch. Just odd that it happened to fit, but I guess it was easier for the jocks on the air. The one when I interned, they actually had remote start set up for these turntables, and the solenoid for that is still underneath the unit itself. It's still attached. So if somebody wanted to use the solenoid to do remote starts with this, they could. It's still, the wiring's still all in place and everything. Also, I replaced the little capacitor that keeps this thing from making the snapping noise when you hit the power switch. They had the wrong value in it, and it was a really shoddy installation job from said engineer. But anyway, I used a terminal strip and put the correct value in there, so it's now the correct one from the factory, and can't think of anything else to tell you about this. I think I pretty much have covered it. I didn't do an absolute pristine job on the cleanup on this. I did not. I cleaned it up as best I could without going zonkers crazy. Like I said, I cleaned it up as best I could. You'll see. There's a little bit of dirt here and there. The new owner can clean that up. I mean, it's all cosmetic dirt, period. It's got a brand new stylus on it, too. It's got a brand new Shore stylus on it. So, and it's got a Russco cut tone arm. Which when I got the turntable, it didn't have a tone arm. I put the Russco cut tone arm on it. So, between the turntable and the Russco cut tone arm, what I'm asking for it is very reasonable if you know what these things cost. So, anyway, I'm going to close this up and start shooting video. There will be two separate videos as I always do. It only has two speeds, only two videos. 33, 45. I'll do a separate video for each. So, here we go. Okay, we're going to do actually a live demonstration of what's underneath that is the massive motor I was telling you about, the big black thing back there. That is the motor. Now, these legs, this was actually originally on a countertop where they had drilled out the holes that the turntable actually sunk into. And I'm trying to pan this around so you can actually see the legs I put on. Don't mind all the junk on the desk. That's all the stuff I have to use for what I do. But the four legs with the rubber tips, I cut those. They're 7.5 inches in length, enough to keep the motor off because the motor needs to hang for the proper, don't mind my camera lens cover there. Anyway, the four legs I put on to keep this thing elevated so that it would actually work. And the gigantic motor there, it's a Bodine motor, and these things are just workhorses. They just go on and on and on. As long as you throw a little oil into them once in a blue moon, they will just thump and thump and thump forever. So anyway, that's the underside of the live shot of it, and wanted to show you the legs. You can either keep the legs on. They're not real sturdy, I'll be honest with you. They kind of wobble. That was one of the reasons I was having trouble queuing up some of the records, because the legs were not stable enough to kind of do that. But I put the legs on to put it into the box for shipping and to keep the motor once again in its position as it is for the rubber supports that are under the platter. So with that, I will show you all the pictures, and I can't think of anything else to tell you. There is, I'm going to see if I can catch a close-up of this. Try to get it in focus here. Maybe not. Yeah, there's the big ball switch I was telling y'all about. That's the power switch. And there is the underside of the power switch, which had a broken wire, which I just resoldered, put all that back together. And behind that is a little red thing. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the new neon light, power light that I put in. So that's been replaced. So, I mean, this thing actually works really good, and you just saw the demonstration. So I'm going to throw it on eBay and see what happens. Anyway, this is Randy, and I hope you enjoy the video.
We're gonna talk it over, talk it over. We know, they know, and you know and I know that it was wrong. But I'm thinking strong. We gotta let them know now that we got a thing going on, a thing going on.
Beyond the shadow of a doubt,